Hello everybody and welcome to Germany. We're here for the live stage for ARW. My name's my name's Stairs. As always, I'm joined by Madbird here in the commentary box.
Yes, I'm Madbird, and we're here at Waldabstieg, the first of our three stages.
Where, sorry?
We're at the Waldabstieg.
Ah, there it is.
The first of our three stages here in Germany. Some tricky stuff on this stage, even in the best of conditions. And these are not the best of conditions, are they, Stairs?
They're not ideal. It's raining. I apologise.
No, that's okay. We'll get there. Map's gone away. So we've got Pablo and James first starting off. They haven't been with us for a while. Pablo for the first time. James not for a long time. He's been doing a stint in Formula 1.
And after Desamaj and Pablo, we've got Goofball Antics in the escort. One of three escort runners, Stairs and Nether being the other two. Bagzy, unfortunately, seems to have accrued himself some sort of punishment from the stewards after last week, has not he, Madbird?
Indeed, yeah. Overdue, if you ask Goofball. Then we've got...
controversy brewing after last week.
We've got Bagzy on.
More on that later.
On,
yeah,
indeed. So we've got Bang, the only one running in the Toyota Celica GT. Madbird in the fourth escort, which you missed out, and Mono in the third Impreza.
Madbird just back from a stint, won a gold medal at the Winter Olympics in Nordic Combined, but that's another story, and Xeris in the Lancia Delta.
Of course, we're going to go over to our rally expert, Robert. Robert, it's a little bit rainy here in Germany. What do you think of it?
I haven't got a single pair of dry underpants. It's absolute disaster.
I didn't understand any of that, Robert. So who do you think's going to do well here in Germany?
Well, I got off the plane in Berlin, and it was raining there, and it's raining here. Oh, the mosquito coil's still burning. Fuck, hang on. But nevertheless, my pants are wet, and they haven't dried since I got off the plane.
Excellent. So, what are you needing the mosquito coil? Anyway, so who do you think is going to do well in Germany, Robert? You still haven't answered my question.
Oh! Yeah, no, I didn't answer that question. Quite right you are.
All right, well, thanks, Robert. We'll get back to you for the next stage later on in the day. Appreciate your...
I look forward to it.
Absolutely. So appreciate your expert knowledge as always, Robert. But we're going to get Stairs back in here now because, we can't speak to you for the rest of the day. Jesus.
Welcome back to Stairs. Why would Stairs leave during... I'm Stairs. Why would I leave during Robert's...
Absolutely. So we're already here for Pablo to get his stage rocketing. And Pablo is off. He is going. So we have Pablo here from Colombia. Not a very big rally nation is Colombia, as far as I know.
Got himself a bit of money together to pay for this entry.
Yeah, good on him.
With means that we won't discuss here because of various legal ramifications it may have on him. But good start so far in the pouring rain.
Absolutely, he's navigated those tight little hay bale chicanes quite well.
El Bitch, his number plate says.
Indeed.
But nonetheless, there's the helicopter in the back. Good. They had a bit of trouble this morning, the helicopter, didn't they? We didn't know if it would be able to fly, so we wouldn't know if we'd get these wonderful aerial shots as he goes off onto the through the flag section there.
Good thing it's just ribbon. They can replace that.
They can, yes.
I'm surprised that I am surprised slightly that the helicopter is actually out and about in this weather. It is pretty heavy out there, as is the treatment that the Impreza is currently getting from Pablo.
Pablo not really bothering the bitumen itself for many parts of this stage. Was fortunate a few minutes ago just to get it back on track before the rocks that we can see on the left-hand side there and on the right. They're very, very, very solid, and you do not want to be coming into contact with them during your stage.
Absolutely not. So this is a good opportunity to sort of go through the stage, I suppose. So the first section here is sort of a pretty fast blast along these open fields. Lots of spectators and rocks around, and you obviously don't want to be going off and going into them.
Oh, no, he didn't see that, did he? I don't think he saw. It must have been his failing eyesight. Didn't see there was a rock on the verge there that he...
and he's clouded another one.
Hit, and so that's not going to be good for his damage. The damage to his car is going to be extensive after that.
You would expect, although it doesn't look too bad. We should get a nice shot here.
Yeah, but neither does my wife. Doesn't mean she's not a horrendous sentence.
Anyway,
Moving on.
Coming up to the first of three little tight, twisty, double hairpin sections on this stage. He's managed to go around that quite well. Not quite as didn't use as liberal handbrake as you'd expect. Got to say his bonnet is not looking. Oh my
gone
goodness!
Off. Before, I mean, even before that, symmetry is not an adjective I would have used to describe his car, and he's got a loose panel on the front left there that he's just clouded the tree with, and there go those flowers. And, well, I mean, it's his first go, and to talk about baptism of water, it's a tricky stage here, tricky conditions to be making your first appearance in ARW Rally live stages.
Indeed, yeah. I used to love this stage, World Abstieg, but everything changed when the Water Nation attacked. But we've got James there.
Like some of the members of our audience will understand that reference.
We've got James.
Disamage.
Do apologise. Starting off his stage. We've
God,
got Pablo.
he's mounted something on the rear there.
Oh my goodness.
And that's not something that I've said for a long time.
Pablo coming down towards the second of these little hairpin twisty sections, following the contours of the Earth.
Through the trees.
It's beautiful. Very nice drone photography here by DiRT. So it's quite impressive he's managing to pilot that drone while driving a rally car.
Very, very small mirror on the left-hand side of that car, I would say. I can't imagine that'd be very much use.
And on the right, it must be said,
Yeah.
they look almost like mouse ears, which isn't something you'd like anything on your car to be described as, really.
No, not so much.
Quite smooth through those corners. He managed to hit those apexes. We've got James coming up to DiRT coming up to the first.
Disamage.
I don't know how to pronounce his name.
That's how he told me to pronounce his name. And
Okay.
And that's.
And oh my goodness,
Oh.
and Pablo has received a 15-second penalty there. He looks
that's
like
ruined it.
He flew off the track,
Doing
so
all right till then.
not good. Anyway, Disamage was almost 9 seconds up on Pablo in the first split, so
Pablo's still going, and that's as much as we need to say about that.
Yes.
As he goes past the polybush sign and into a tree. That's a disaster. That's and rear ends a tree. It's just gone from not very good to not much better. It's not much worse. Well, it's not good. It's
Not good.
What are you saying there, Bagzy? There's 2 more stages. What's 2 more stages? Oh, is it going to hold together? That's a good point.
That is a very good point.
I
I'm
do
not sure.
apologise. I'm having a conversation with my producer off camera there, and do the cars get repaired, Madbird, in between these stages?
Some of them do, some of them don't. It depends on the funds, let's say, of the teams.
Okay.
Yeah, and
In that case, he should be fine.
he should be
We know
fine
that
with that
accrued a
Colombian
significant amount of money from various industries well known to the country of Colombia.
money. Indeed, and we've got Disamage here. First on-board shot we've got on him. He's certainly
He's sawing at the wheel, isn't he?
he's flinging that car around. It's certainly not boring to look at. I'll give him that. He was 25 seconds up at the second split, so he's certainly showing Pablo what for. He looks like he's clouded the rear of his car on something, but
Yeah, those. I'm not sure what there's a German term which doesn't come to mind straight at this minute, as we see Goofball about to start his stage. But there's a term for those they're very solid rock concrete things.
Dragon's teeth.
Yes, but there's a German term under there. Dragon's teeth may well be the translation.
Dragon's Tunz.
And Goofball's 13 seconds into his stage, so we wait with angst as to what it is he's going to produce for us.
Disamage almost 56 seconds up on Pablo as he's incredibly sideways coming down that steep descent, managed to pull it together and not go into the trees. So it's looking like a pretty good return here for Disamage after a few seasons out of rally. But he is Finnish, of course, and they seem to be able to turn the hand to pretty much anything. He has gone a little bit wide, clouded the back of his car on a tree, but he has managed to pull himself through the remainder of the stage, and he is going to end up finishing a good 88 seconds ahead of Pablo. So
That's
good
significant.
return to form from Disamage.
While we've got Goof on stage, which is likely to be something that may take some time, we've actually managed to get Bagzy who's not competing this round due to some, I believe, has he been disqualified from competing in this round?
I believe there has been some controversy over Bagsy's use of vehicles and whether they're the correct vehicles or not.
Well, we're actually going to throw down to Robert, who's got Bagzy down there at the paddock, as we see Goofball having some issues there, and he's got some questions for Bagzy regarding the last round out in Finland.
Bagzy, what? Tell me. I mean, good to see you. You're looking well.
Thank you, Robert.
You're welcome. What are your thoughts about your disqualification in Finland?
Oh, it's a bloody witch hunt, isn't it? Heathy goes and jumps on the mic while he's while he's not even racing and just starts shit talking about stuff he just doesn't know about at all.
Okay, well, that's fiery words. So what is your response to Goofball's assertion that you were premeditated in your cheating?
There's nothing premeditated about it whatsoever. It was entirely an accident that I crashed my car, and I just happened to have a backup that came along.
But the backup it wasn't legal for the class that you were racing that day.
Oh, even if it's not legal, it wasn't a faster car, so it's not an issue, is it?
Sure.
Was it?
Well, I think it was faster. You went from a 60s car to a car that was some 40 years younger.
Oh, I didn't think the year was relevant. I just, on the sign-up sheet, it just said bring along a Mini.
Well, I can't argue with that. Was that anyway related to your decision not to compete today?
Oh, no, I would have competed today, although, honestly, I thought this one was in Greece, so I'm lucky to have arrived here.
Right, how did you end up getting here? Who told you? Oh.
Well, funny, it was Goof who booked my plane ticket for Greece originally, so
Okay.
I'm lucky to have arrived. I'm quite confident on that. It's very nefarious.
Right, so he was trying to get you to go to the wrong place.
Yes, that's why you can see it. I think he might still be quite... it's been an entire witch hunt. It's very nefarious.
Well, nefarious, that's a big word.
Yeah, well, it's just all part of the fact that Heathy's... Well, as you can see here, he's a shit driver, he's a shit person, and he does shit things like this, kicking out his back legs the whole way. So that's the way it is.
I don't endorse all of those things, but those nonetheless are Bagsy's opinions on the matter. And we'll throw back to you in the commentary box. Madbird and Stairs.
Bagsy grabbed onto Robert Spitz or
I
something?
don't know.
That didn't sound like he was in a particularly comfortable place.
He was not comfortable, no.
But regardless, Goofball did finish his stage, and he finished ahead of Pablo, which is probably better than most of his results, finishing ahead of somebody. We do have Stairs here, the home runner, as it were,
yes.
in his home country of Germany.
Not doing very well, but having a good.
Do you know the history of Stairs? Do you know where he grew up? Did he grow up driving on these old military bases? Is this what he did for fun? Stairs, that is.
No. No. He was an Olympic hammer thrower, but then he injured his shoulder and became a racing driver.
Okay. Excellent. Anyways, so that's certainly some history that I didn't know or care about.
Well, you asked about it. So
I did.
Forgive me for thinking you were interested. But nonetheless, he's 2 minutes and 11 seconds into this stage and had a few little minor moments, nothing too nefarious, but nonetheless...
There's that word again.
Yes.
Must be said that his car is currently quite underformed, which is
And that's
definitely...
not to say that it's not formed.
But it's got nice crisp lines, hasn't collided with anything. So that's certainly a step up from quite a few of Stairs' previous outings.
That's it. Yeah.
He's taken an interesting line there through those. You'd usually want to drop a little bit of handbrake and flick the car around a bit, but
Yeah, doesn't seem that comfortable with that style of driving, it would appear.
no, probably used to the open wheelers a little bit more. Stairs. He's done.
Smooth as fast, as they say.
It is indeed.
Oh, and that's not fast.
Or smooth.
Oh, God.
Oh my goodness.
Christ.
No matter how many times I
Yeah.
think of that.
I'm glad that I've only seen that once.
As we've got Nether starting his stage in the next escort,
Can we please cut to that shot?
and we not quite yet. We've got to see Stairs go down this hair.
Oh,
my
Christ.
Jesus!
He's clipped the inside there and rolled the car.
He has. He can't get that back on his wheels. That's
No.
15 seconds, which is probably generous, really, to flip the car back on.
Generous? I don't know. Is it generous? Maybe it's generous. It might be ungenerous, but, you know, you're losing time anyway.
That car is now deformed.
Oh, the windscreen's got a bit of a crack in it.
This side is not particularly straight anymore.
Yeah, but I mean, honestly, we all have a crack in our ass, so why would that be a problem? Nether's about 50 seconds into his stage, and well, Nether's time is irrelevant right now because Stairs has just crossed the line and he's done a 4 minute 13, which slots him into second place ahead of Goof.
It does. Nether currently 4 seconds back on Zimaj, going through the first sector split. So he's the first runner who you can sort of rely on not to crash. So
Thanks.
so that's. I mean that in the nicest possible way. We love all our runners, and they all give us amazing entertainment. But Nether's.
Now, the ones who don't crash don't give us much entertainment, though.
No, well, exactly, yeah. And the ones at the pointy end tend to be the smoothest and the cleanest, which is most usually the least interesting thing to watch. So,
So keep that in mind when you decide whether or not to watch the rest of this video or not. Like, comment, and subscribe, please.
Nether.
Oh, goodness.
Just jumping past the kickstart sign,
Yeah.
managing to keep out of the crowd.
Kickstart gave him a little kickback for that, did they?
6.8 seconds down on the Zimaj, so he's lost a little bit of time in the second sector. Might be able to claw that back.
He has.
Still recording.
Yeah. Always a definite plus as Nether tips it in with quite a lot of enthusiasm to the final sector in this particular stage. And to the right.
God, it's wet.
It is.
It is incredibly wet. Wetter than
Insert joke here.
I'm glad you said that because I couldn't think of one. He's coming down into this sort of tight section. He's managed to negotiate that quite well.
Beautiful.
Flicked it out a little bit.
That's how you do it.
That isn't how you do it. That is rather how you do it, indeed. Coming up to the third sector splits here. So
That isn't how you do it. That is how you do it.
that isn't how you do it.
But
That
he's still
is.
not. He's still nearly 10 seconds slower than James. So James has pulled out some sort of wizardry in his first stage for
He has.
Dirt Rally stage.
He has indeed. Although these fins, like they just, I don't know, there's something about them. Although Nether is coming up to that terrifying downhill section that has caught out a few of our runners, as we've got Bang starting in his Celica.
Yes, the old mate Control C, Control V, Bang Bang for his stage. Name's doubled in length since we did the Formula One races.
He has, however, changed his name back from his native name of Prince Mabango Django to Bang Bang to make it a little bit easier on the English-speaking audience. So we all appreciate that. But we've got Nether here coming up to complete his I was going to say his lap. He's coming up to complete his stage 11.5 seconds down on Zimaj. So still a commanding performance so far by Zimaj.
Bang just wiggling his way through. Comes from the isolated island of Iceland, up there in the sea, north of the UK and all that sort of stuff, and just goes about his own way. Has a remarkably Ocker accent for someone who's not from Australia, but nonetheless,
He does.
That's what he does.
5.8 seconds down on Zimaj. So despite being from the Nordic countries like the Zimaj, he has failed to summon the what's that Scandinavian?
The Sisu.
Sisu.
The Finnish courage.
That one. Yes, he has failed to get it. Although it must be said
It
that's
might be the Celica.
That's the leaker, yeah. It does look fantastic.
Blame the car. Yes, no, it is. It does look fantastic. And
I quite like the antennas on top. It almost looks like an insect.
it does. Insects being something he wouldn't be familiar with coming from a country that doesn't really get above zero for much of the year. But nonetheless, he'll be enjoying seeing water in its liquid form here in Germany. But he's probably not enjoying that. That's a moment that will probably necessitate a trip to the dry cleaners at his earliest convenience.
That would be. He would have filled his pants with some quite soggy excrement.
What is Fidanza?
Fidanza. Fidanza is they are a manufacturer of various children's toys, and they're housed in their home factory in Oslo. They are originally from Reykjavik, which explains the connection with the Icelandic band. But have moved to Oslo because of the tax prices in Iceland. It's impossible for a homegrown business to stay there. It's a constant problem.
Iceland's Prime Minister really needs to sort that out. You know,
He does.
He doesn't think about the employment rate when he's dealing with tax rates for businesses in Iceland, does he?
No, he doesn't. He's just thinking about getting men there to marry his women because there are just too many Icelandic women apparently, as all the adverts keep telling me.
Yes, that's true.
As we got Bang, he has stuck the tail out and managed to clip it.
And his door's come open.
The door's open.
He's spun me right round.
He's managed to shut that. No, very good.
Madbird starting his stage. Another one of our Nordic, or one of our competitors from that area in the world.
Only missing Sweden.
No, yes.
No one likes a
Well,
Swede.
Madbird did race under the Swedish flag for a time, but is something he probably would rather forget. Oh, what's happened? Bang's is he recovering from something? I'll look away from the screen momentarily.
No. He slowed down quite a bit at the bottom of that descent.
Wouldn't you?
But I would indeed. I'd probably go quite a lot slower than these guys in my Mazda 6. In real life,
Yeah, but in the stage, you know.
commentator Madbird is in Mazda 6.
Oh, good.
As we got Bang has finished his stage behind Nether.
We didn't talk about it.
Shut up. 23 seconds down
Ford
on
Escort.
Z-Maj in his Ford Escort. And we got Madbird, as you say, he's managed to slot in 3.3 seconds down on Z-Maj. So even Madbird, who finished on the podium in the previous stage, not managing to touch the fin at this stage. So an incredible return to form, it must be said.
Well, an incredible return regardless, you know. He wasn't out of form, he just wasn't present at all. And Polybush, someone's the world leader in polyurethane suspension bushes and components. What's that? Oh, are they a sponsor of Liam, are they?
Who's Liam?
Madbird, I beg your pardon.
My goodness. As we've got the snap-on of Madbird coming up to the second sector split,
Sorry, the strap-on.
He is 5.7 seconds, so he's bled time to Z-Maj still, so I look forward to someone being able to touch this man, although...
Yeah, you do.
Yeah, hey now. As we've got Madbird flicking it around those hairpins.
Quite a solid job there, sorry, cut across.
He did, with his Oz Racing, one of Madbird's favourite sponsors.
88, a number that doesn't adorn too many likeable characters, but in this case it does. Go on.
Anyways. No, I'm sorry, I'm just watching.
Oh, yeah, we cut across each other.
It's like when you're walking
watching is, yeah.
and you both go,
yeah, to the right, to the left. Yeah.
And then one of you just sort of stands aside.
and punch them in the face.
And you both think to yourselves, what a fucking dickhead. As Madbird is coming.
Curb stomp them. And he is coming across to the third sector split, which we eagerly await the time of. Whether he's gained any on James, 3.7, about the same there. So James just had a mega first sector, did he not?
Oh, long slide there from Madbird, managed to hang on to it. Very nice. But yes, Z-Maj has had an incredible run so far, but it looks currently set to maintain that first position, although we do still have Mono and Zeros, two of our fastest runners.
It looked like he just mounted the... no, as I said that, he's had an error of judgment and very quickly got that into reverse to recover the car, but I was about to say it looked like he'd mounted the banking on the inside there, and that was the same place the stairs crashed, I believe. And as Mono we've missed that. Mono's just started his stage, and Madbird eager to make up for lost time.
Does it rain much in South Africa? Because Mono might not have
No,
much experience with this.
Never rained at all.
Okay, it's like it's
There is a
the
Cape
outer
Town
car.
water shortage. I'm reliably informed. About 8.8 seconds, exactly 8.8 seconds adrift of James Desamage there. So another solid result for Madbird, but always the bridesmaid, never the bride, it would appear.
Yeah, no, never on that top step as of yet. As we've got Mono approaching the first sector split. Mono is one of our first properly fast runners, so I mean, I say that, but you know, he has slotted in fourth actually, down behind Nether. So not a good start here for the South African.
Yeah, so I think he prefers the dry gravel stages of the previous events that we've visited, and obviously this is something that he's struggling with.
Yeah, both paved roads, which they don't have in South Africa, and water, which they don't have in South Africa. So it's a bad racist combination.
It's a wonder that a country like that exists in the 21st century. But,
It
you
is.
know, there are worse countries.
Oh, but you know, their Human Development Index is
Korea.
off the charts. So
Is
you know,
it?
I'm sure they won't be far away from heaven.
It's well, that's something that obviously Mono Man has had to deal with for the predominant majority of his life. Mono Man,
The
as we
predominant
mentioned-
majority.
yes, formerly known as Glandular Fever Man, but that's something that I believe they have high rates of in South Africa.
I believe that is accurate. Mono having slotted in the second sector split, still below Nether, so not even looking like he's on the podium for the first time since we've started doing these events. So not going to be happy with that. He's going to be fanging it through this last two sectors,
He certainly will be.
and hopefully gaining some of that time backstairs.
That's exactly right. And well, it's something that we have mentioned in the past that Mono has been really quite competitive in these stages,
He has, yeah.
and we're looking at now the sector 3 times, 236.8 obviously being the best. Mono well down on that at this stage, and whether he's slot in ahead of Nether, well, just there by half a second, so he's making his way up the leaderboard. But whether he's got 8.5 seconds, I really don't think that that's possible.
I don't, yeah, unless he somehow manages to. We're coming up to that very hairy downhill section as we've got Zero starting his stage. Mono managing to keep it on the stage thus far. He hasn't flown off at all, so that's definitely a plus. He almost comes to a stop, not very fast there at the bottom, but managed to not fly off into the trees, which of course will be a good boon for his time. But as you say, he's currently just nosed his way onto the podium, but Xerus of course still to come.
Yes.
And
Oh,
oh my goodness.
straight into the wall. I was gonna say, speaking of countries with low Human Development Index ratings, Xerus of Ethiopia has started his stage, and he is very much the favourite as Mono Man crosses the line in a 3:38.9. So that collision with the tree, obviously. Well, it didn't actually. He only finished 2.5 seconds behind Nether, so he was going to be well ahead.
He was, but then he fucked it. So
Did what? Sorry.
he messed it up.
Oh.
As we got Xerus actually 3/4 of a second down on Zizumaj in the first
Desamage.
in the first sector. So even the almighty Xerus of Ethiopia not managing to topple that the Finn's time as of yet, but. Of course, Xerus tends to only get faster as the stages go on, so we'll have to see how he does. What the hell?
That's right. Well, yes, Ethiopia, known as a country which it ranks low on many ratings, such as inequality, gender inequality, payment, income, I should say. But Xerus, obviously, that hasn't affected his ability to win so many of these stages. Although he hasn't been able to pay for paint for his car. As you can see, there aren't too many stickers on there, apart from number 86. But sponsorship somewhat lacking, so
Possibly 98.
where the funding comes from, I don't know. No, well, they wouldn't have put the 98 upside down on the door, I don't think. But
Or maybe they We don't know that, Stairs. This is just it's all part of the mystique of
Well,
this
yes,
man.
I mean their education is one of the lowest in the world, so you know it's something that's quite possible that numbers being put upside down is something that they could potentially accidentally do from time to time.
And as I believe while we were going through the Human Development Index there, it was missed that Xeris was actually 400ths of a second up on Disamaj in the second sector, so
Well,
he is
that's not
clawing it
something
back.
you would expect from a country that only has 37.2% of exports and imports as a percentage of their GDP.
Now 3.4 seconds up on Disamaj.
Wow.
So he's clawed that well and truly back.
Well, it's really just up to him to keep it clean now. He doesn't have. I mean, well, speaking of countries that don't have a lot of rain, apart from, of course, the tropical downpours that they get from time to time. I hope that's correct. Xeris hasn't got. He has basically the same excuses we could have put forward for Mono, which we did in fact put forward for Mono.
We did.
But we're entering potentially the last 10 seconds now of his stage, and it looks like he's going to be well up. And indeed he is. So he beats Disamaj's time by 4.9 seconds.
Indeed, so Xeris with a 320.6 at the top there, so managing to edit out Disamaj with quite an incredible time.
Still a debut, you would have to say, for the young Finn.
An incredible debut, finishing in the second place on the podium. Madbird managing to work his way up there as well, so that's good for the Nordic countries.
The Dutch wonder Nether in fourth place, 16.2 seconds. He was fortunate that Mono Man crashed in the latter parts of his stage and was able to stay ahead. Bang is the best of the rest.
Yeah, Stairs not having a good outing in his on his home turf. We've got Goofball down in 8th, and we've got our newcomer Pablo, still learning the craft, of course, so can't judge him too harshly. The Colombian, 1 minute and 30 seconds down on the pace. So
That's right.
so that was the first stage of our 3 stages here in Germany. Next up is the Cruisungsring, followed by the creatively named Cruisungsring Reverse. So
That's right. Well, thanks again for watching. As always, my name's Stairs, and I've been joined in the commentary box by Madbird.
Auf Wiedersehen.